Next job is to install the rear subframe and all the associated parts that go onto it. This looks quite nice, this subframe now, but certainly didn't look like it when I started. I'll insert a short clip of here of what it looked like beforehand. Yeah, the rear subframe I've got to use, that's going to be nice, cleaning all that up. But at least that one's not bent, unlike the other one. Not a lot of changes I do to the subframe. There's a few redundant brackets that I remove. Other than that, just turn this over. One thing I do is, as standard, there's an adjustable camber bolt on each side here, but I use adjustable camber arms, which we'll see in a moment, so I don't use those. So what I do is I weld the shaped washers on in the middle position, because otherwise they just move around all the time, otherwise you constantly tighten them up. But other than that, that's all I really do on the subframe. So we'll have a look at the suspension parts which go onto it next. Right, laid out at the front of the car because not much room around the back at the moment. I need to have a clear out of all the stuff I've got in here. As more and more parts going onto the car, I can actually get some room to move. But what we've got here is the rear trailing arm, Mazda hubs again, same as the front. Power flex bushes on there. Might change those for Speed Pro, because I've changed everything else on the car to Speed Pro. This is a lower arm, standard item again. Speed Pro brushes both ends. One change I do is for where the spring mounts. This is a HSD lower mount rather than a BC lower mount. The bolts in the back there, and I've cut it down so the spring goes in there easier. Just grab a spring. That's the spring mounts in there. And for the people who know about BCs will say that is a very strange looking spring. That's a standard coilover spring, and that's why I do this modification, so you can use standard springs. The BC ones are barrel shaped, and there's a limited range of sizes, etc. in those. I did have some custom made once, which is about 4 times the price of buying one of these, so I decided to convert so I could use these springs. And you'll notice the spring is separate from the coilover because it's a divorce setup on the back. And again, that's another thing people tend to get wrong when setting these up, this type of thing up, is because it's inboard, you've got leverage on it, and you have to work out the leverage ratio. I can't remember the exact figure on these. It's something like 0.463, something weird like that. It works out at. But I was working on a basis of 0.5. So this is a 12 kilo spring, and I run 10 kilo springs on the front. So you think, well, why is the back stiffer than the front? Well, it's not, because this is an effective spring of 6 kilos. So it's 10 kilos front, 6 kilos back. So it needs to run a double the amount of spring on the back to get the same effective rate. Right, and this is the adjustable, this is the adjuster for the camber, which is why I don't use the adjustable camber bolts. It's a hard race item with pillow ball mounts again. And this is a hard race adjuster for adjusting the toe. It's black in the middle because the powder coating takes a real beating with the spans on off there when you're adjusting it. So I ground all that off a while ago and then just put the standard epoxy black paint, which I use for pretty much everything. It's easier to recoat every year to make it look a bit prettier and not rust to pieces. This is the coilover, which is the, again, BCER to match the fronts. Double adjustable. You bump and rebound, probably the wrong way around. I always forget which one's which. I always look it up every time. Extenders on the top, because the way I have a roll cage, you need to extend that through to fit. And again, you can see from there, I don't know, Ford Focus, but fits just fine. Nothing more to say about those. And these are the adjustable mounts, the BC ones, and these go at the top of the spring, so they go up there, and it lets you adjust the preload and height on the rear. Generally, I only bring as low as I possibly can because the rear is way too high, so I've been contemplating taking those adjusters out on there, but obviously then that makes it difficult to do the corner weighting if you've got no adjustment on the springs on the back at all. But I do run a fair bit of preload on these anyway, so I could probably do a lot of adjustment with the coilover itself. So I have a think about that, but probably for the start of the season I'll just run it the same as I ran it last year. I haven't got enough time to faff about too much with setups. I'll see how the car goes the first couple of races and adjust from there. Right, I'll get on with bolting this rear subframe up. Oh, it reminds me of one thing I wanted to show you on the rear subframe, talking about bolting up. Why I didn't do this from the front, I don't know, but the rear subframe has these little pyramids on it, and that aligns it. Why you have to use alignment pins on the front, so I very well don't know. I'm sure it's a very good reason, but I don't know what it is. But the rear subframe, you just shove it up and bolt it in, and it self-centers on these pins. Right, I shall crack on with that and show you what it looks like when it's all bolted on. Right, rear subframes all in, shocks all mounted. One thing I wanted to show was the that says L for left, and we're on the right hand side of the car. And basically why I do that is because this is the camber adjuster, dog bone, and the way to adjust that is you have to unbolt it, lift it up, turn it, put it back in again. And obviously if that is over there, that's a right pain in the arse to do, so I just swap it around, it all fits fine. I run the standard caliper on the back. Got some Swiss J-hook discs on here because they came as a matching set with the ones I used around the front last year, but normally I just run just plain discs on the back. On the rear brakes, don't do an enormous amount of work. I think I've had these pads in here for 3 seasons now and they're still only about half worn. Right, let's see if I can bend my way down underneath. Get some light under here because it's a bit dingy. So you can see that's the subframe all mounted up there. Springs on place. I've actually put some short springs on here. Messed up a little bit because I thought I had 6-inch springs on there before. It was actually 7-inch, so these are 5. So it might be too low now, but we'll see how we go. It's dead easy to change these. Just take that one bolt out, drop it down, put a new spring in, bolt it back up again. It takes 5 minutes. So if it's too low, I'll just get a pair of 6-inch ones and shove them in there. Haven't got the anti-roll bar in there yet. It's just a white line one to go with the white line adjustable drop links. And this yawning great hole here is where the fuel tank goes, which is one of the next jobs to get in there. Let's get the fuel tank in, get the swirl pot and pumps in. I'll put the swirl pot in there, it gets nice and safe in there, and the pump goes back here, filter goes back here, so it's all contained in this area underneath the car. Yeah, anything more to say about that? Right, next thing to go in is the pedal box. This is a Tilton 600 pedal box I've had for a good few years now. It was on the Puma before the last Volvo, and now it's going in this one. Because I had the seat so far back, I wouldn't be able to reach the standard pedals, so one of the main reasons for having a pedal box is because I like to have the seat a long way back, but it's also nice having the adjustability. I can set the brake pedal an accelerator pedal or a distance I want them apart, and when I push down the brake then I'm level with the accelerator for heel and toe, if I ever actually remember to do that. I made for the last Volvo, I made this plate which gives me a range of adjustments, so I just bolt onto this plate and then that bolts into a raised platform in the car, which one of the reasons for doing the same car again was everything should just bolt straight in, but there's yet another thing on this car. There's one over there, excuse all the mess, is in the process of levelling this up, but this is the aluminium box which bolts into the floor, which then raises the pedal box up. And none of the bolt holes line up with anything on this car because the floor pan's different to the other one, so I've had to redo a lot of that, but still quicker than doing it all from scratch. So I shall get all that bolted in. A few more bits and bobs in now. The pedal box is fully bolted in now. I've just laid the top plate in there so you can see how it looks when it's finished. The top plate's not bolted in yet, but I'm just basically bolting along there and along the back here onto the frame underneath. That gives me a nice raised platform for my feet. Put the centre console support in for the switch panels, etc. That's all in there and sturdy. That's stiffened up the gear linkage a fair bit as well. And I just put the trial fitted the brake and clutch reservoirs on there because I'm going to have them inside the car this year. They're under the bonnet on the old car and an absolute pain in the neck to get to, they really were. Whereas there, when the dashboard's in, there's an air vent right in front there, so I can just pop the air vent out and have a quick peep at the levels. And my dashboard's quick release anyway. You can see over that end there's that little fitting down there. I've got 4 of those, and the dashboard basically just clips onto those 4 and these 2 blue things at the front. So I can take the whole dashboard in and out in 30 seconds, so that's quite a good place to put everything. All the wiring is going to be under there as well. There's going to be, move the camera over there, there's going to be 2 supports there and a flat plastic board going across that way, and all the wiring is going to be on top of there, so it keeps it all nice and neat and tidy. I had all the wiring underneath the dashboard in the last car, but it was far from neat and tidy, so hopefully I'll do a better job of that this time. Right, not sure what's next, but I shall see you soon. At the moment, just trying to get as many things installed as possible, because the next major job is to start running the fuel lines, brake lines, and do the wiring obviously. So dashboards all in position so I can work out what space I have. The cowling there isn't in yet because I've got to make up a mount for the actual dashboard itself over there. Switch panels in. Has come back out again because I've got to put the new fire extinguisher cables in and the cut-off switch in, but again I just wanted to make sure that everything fits as it should do, because I had quite a few surprises with this car with bits of the floor pan being different to the old one. And made up this panel here which is for the brake bias adjuster, and that's the line lock. So I use the handbrake and for standing starts, nice and easy to get to, flip it down. So we're getting there. Oh, and made up a support for the footrest, because otherwise that bends like crazy. A bit neater than the one I had on the old car. And the first part of the fire extinguisher gone in as well. It's easy to get that in the way before the pedal box goes in, because it's awkward to get to otherwise. So I think the next job is going to be sorting out the dash, and I can start working out the wiring runs. Bit out of sequence because I forgot to film it earlier, but this is the first part of the dashboard going in. It's a CNC plate which I cut on my CNC machine, which I found the actual dashboard on. I use a Dash 2 Pro. It's a bit old technology now, but it does the job, does everything I need. This is the adjuster for the power steering, because I have fully variable power steering, so I can have it all the way around when I'm loading the car up, steering around the paddock, etc. And I can steer with one finger, and I can turn it right down for a bit more feeling on track. And that's the warning light for the alternator, because that's the only thing you can't really get to display properly on there. I mean, oil pressure, temperature, all that sort of thing flashes up on here, and everything lights up like a Christmas tree, so I don't need any extra warning lights. But that one, yeah, I didn't have that in Snetterton a few years ago, and didn't realise my battery was going flat, so I have that now. I haven't done the cowling yet, but I've done the cover which goes on here. I can do this one-handed, it's going to be a bit tricky. There we go, so that goes on there. Again, I make I cut out a mould on my CNC machine, and then this is a sheet of plastic which I then use. I've got a vacuum thermoformer which I put over the mould and creates this, and then I'll have a curved, like I had on the old car, curved top to go over there. I've got these 3D printed formers which go on the inside. There's 3 of them, which maintain the bend of the cowling as it goes along there, and the dashboard sits on top of that. Right, this is the bulkhead with all the holes for all the various things I need to go through drilled. I mean, fuel lines, ECU, other sensors, positive and negative battery cables, brakes, clutch. That's everything I've got on there now. So the next job is to cover all this with some heat protection stuff. Don't think it actually really needs it, because it's quite a long way back from the exhaust, but it certainly tidies it all up, because it looks quite rough at the moment with all different patches and everything on there. So just get all that done next. It's a bit of a mess in here, I need to have a good clean up, but all the gear shift cables and plates are in place now. You can see here how far back the gearbox is from standard, because these cables should mount on there. Obviously I've got from there to there, so I built the original car 4 years ago. I made up these extensions, and they've worked fine, no problems whatsoever with those, and all looks quite neat and tidy. Quite pleased with that. Didn't intend to have all this black and white theme going on, but the black epoxy paint dries so much faster than the white paint does, so this white paint doesn't fully cure for 7 days, whereas the black paint is dry in about an hour, so it's no contest. Actually looks quite smart, actually, I think, not too bad at all. Here's the other end of the gear shift cables, so come out from underneath. Also challenge of these to keep them clear of the exhaust. I've got some more heat shielding to go on here yet. The old heat shielding broke down, so I'm getting some sort of better quality Goodrich stuff to go on there, just to cover a bit. I mean, the manifold goes straight through there, obviously, so they're not far away from the heat. Never had a problem with the heat. I mean, they move nice and freely, so there's no issues there. Right, didn't feel as much as I wanted to again, got on a bit of a roll, but the bulkhead's pretty much done now. Just got to do the cover for the ECU cables, etc., but brake lines are roughed in, haven't sealed them in yet. There's the clutch lines in. It's a positive battery cable, that's a fuel return. Negative battery cable, fire extinguisher, fuel in, and throttle cable goes there. And I'll put some heat stuff onto the gear shift cables as well. I was doing the power steering lines along here, but I've been sent the wrong one, so that's on hold for the moment. I get some new ones. And go around here, done a few more things inside. Just made up the first bit of pipe from there to there. Also going to go to the back next. That's the fuel lines waiting to go in. Run the supply lines for the pedal box, and the banjos are all torqued down now. Just got to make up some clips and tidy all this up a bit so it doesn't flap around everywhere. And I've got the supports in for the, there's going to be a sheet of plastic along here. That's where all the fuses, relays, whatever I need for junction boxes, everything for the wiring goes along there. And it's a part of the clutch. And the next job is to get everything along this bulkhead all on the inside, all connected up. I'll have that done by the next episode, and we should be putting the engine in and starting it on the next one. So that should be fun. So I'll see you for that one.